Hello everyone. This week's inspirational quote, courtesy of the hand map, is I am proud of all the bad days I have survived. In the intro, on my Instagram, that I said that this is one of those inspirational quotes that it cuts deep. Well, for me, it cuts deep because there have been several times where I've either thought about or have attempted to take my own life, you know, and in each time, my uh support system was there for me, whether that be God, whether that be like a guardian angel, whether that be a family member, whether that be a battle buddy who's basically more of a family member than just a battle buddy to me. Um, you know, I will say over the years I have been through a lot. I've dealt with a lot of uh, tr- trauma. You know, over the course of my lifetime, I've dealt with a lot of things that I don't want my little boy to have to go through. I've dealt with things that I don't want any child to ever have to go through. I've dealt with things that I don't want any child or any person to ever have to normalize. I've dealt with a lot, you know, and that's one thing that I cannot that I can and I will say is I've gotten through those tough moments. I've gotten through those really bad days, through those really bad times, and hey, it's I always say, we should take things one day at a time, a one up moment at a time. That one day at a time slogan comes from the To Valhalla Project shirt that uh my sister got me, you know, and I try to live by that, and it's through that I think that I was able to come up with my own personal motto, about not giving up, about not throwing in the towel, just because it gets hard, just because it's seems like it's easier to do, um, but to keep going forward, you know, and to not give up, because I will say this, it takes a lot more effort and a lot more energy, um, to not give up, to keep going, despite how bad that things may actually seem, in that moment, you know. Um, I will say that it is easy, to get stuck on the roller coaster, to dive down farther into the a rabbit hole, into the abyss, to um just to keep like the the door open, that we know that we need to lock or to close, you know, um, to put like the darkness back to where it needs to go, you know, um, like for me, that hasn't been easy, and it's one of those things that I still deal with, to this very day, and And I will say that I am thankful, that I'm still around. I get to see, my little boy grow up. That also means that I get to see the moments where he does things that I know that he knows that he shouldn't do because that he knows better, but he but that he's a kid, and like it's any other kid, like he's going to try to test his limits. I mean, it's like I know that I did at times. Um, but I'm grateful, that I have a good kid. Like I have a kid who wants to like learn about things. Who like asks you things when he doesn't understand, like what you mean, because you're bringing up things that his generation knows nothing about. You know, it doesn't make like a sense to them because they use totally different phrase for whatever is going on. They don't know about the like old school stuff. You know, um, but just like I watching him like grow up. Like I watching him fight. From the for that he was born. And even after he was born, for him to to fight through the things that he had to, for the first like couple years of his life. You know, I will say it, that while it is tough, it's also one of those things that will actually like humble you. You know, um, I mean, like I love my kid. Like I will say that, and that he knows that he is loved. And and when I'm having like one of those like extra bad days, like it's important that I'm able to give myself some grace, like in those moments. To not beat myself up like even like more. To not judge myself. To not be my worst like enemy. You know, um, because if I do that, then I'm not truly happy myself. It's like I'm not happy myself to heal, to manage, to deal with those things like at all. But if I can give myself like a little bit of grace in those moments, and to meet myself like where that I'm like at, so I'm able to like work through those moments. I'm able to make it through. I'm able to deal with. I'm able to like manage. Um, you know, then perhaps I'm able to make it another day. You know, um, yeah, like that. I will say this. Um, for me, it's been about trying not to lose the but like a leaf that there are brighter days that do lie and like ahead. If I don't give up, that there is still hope. If I don't give up, you know, um, because I think that for me, personally, once I lose sight of those things, you know, then it's a lot easier, for the darkness, to creep in, into and influence, like the way that I think and that I act and that I react about things, and the way that I handle things, you know. Um, yeah, but that's just me personally. Um, I love to hear what are your thoughts and reviews are like about this week's inspirational quote. So please post those in the comments, and if you know like anybody who has had like a rough time, who has dealt with like any like other things that I've like mentioned, I would encourage you um to please share my response of this week's social quote with them, to offer them like a sense of hope, like a sense of encouragement, like a sense of inspiration. And as always, until next time, I hope everyone has a safe and a wonderful week.